Imagine sitting in a room full of people who call you family and realizing in a single sentence that you were never truly included. Wendy Dixon was 32 years old when her parents stood at the center of their anniversary dinner and announced a luxury family trip to Hawaii, then calmly informed her she would not be going because someone needed to stay behind to watch the children. 30 guests watched her smile politely while something inside her finally broke. What no one in that room knew was that Wendy had been building a secret life for 3 years, a life that would soon change everything. Wendy grew up in a picture-perfect suburban home outside Boston, the kind that looked flawless from the street. Her father was a retired bank manager. Her mother devoted her life to maintaining the family's social image. And her younger sister Megan married a successful corporate attorney and lived the life everyone praised. Wendy, on the other hand, was introduced simply as she helps out. She parked her old Honda on the street so the Lexus could sit in the driveway. She cooked holiday meals she wasn't allowed to serve. She wrapped presents she didn't receive. She organized birthdays, babysat the children, and absorbed the quiet message repeated her entire life. She was useful but not important. 3 years earlier, her long-term relationship ended with the painful words, "You're always just there." Lost and wandering the city afterward, she bought a used camera from a pawn shop. That small purchase became her secret refuge. Wendy began photographing people society overlooked: elderly women at bus stops, janitors finishing overnight shifts, vendors with worn hands and tired eyes. She created an anonymous page called Invisible Women, and over time, thousands of strangers connected with the humanity in her images. Still, she told no one. In her family, passion was indulgence, and art was impractical. Then an email arrived from a coastal gallery in California expressing interest in her work. She almost deleted it, convinced good things were meant for other people. Only one person encouraged her to believe otherwise: her Aunt Ruth, the family disappointment, who had left expectations behind to open a small cafe and pottery studio by the sea. Ruth saw Wendy's photographs and called them extraordinary. For the first time in her life, Wendy allowed herself to imagine that she might be seen. The anniversary dinner humiliation forced a decision. Later that night, Wendy discovered emails between her mother and sister describing her as free help, who should feel grateful to be useful. In that quiet kitchen, surrounded by the life she had spent decades serving, Wendy finally understood her place. Not daughter, not sister, staff, and staff can resign. If you have ever felt invisible in your own family, overlooked at work, or valued only for what you provide rather than who you are, you already understand the weight of that realization. Many people stay in roles that diminish them because leaving feels impossible. But sometimes the cost of staying is the loss of self. By morning, Wendy had packed her car. She left behind furniture, expectations, and the glittering world's best aunt apron that symbolized a role she never chose. She drove across the country toward Carmel by the Sea, where Aunt Ruth welcomed her with open arms and a small room above the cafe. There, Wendy worked morning shifts, pouring coffee, and spent afternoons preparing for her gallery meeting. For the first time, her time belonged to her. When gallery owner Marcus Coleman offered her a solo exhibition, Wendy held the contract in shaking hands. Seeing her name printed under the word artist felt unreal. Her photographs, once hidden in a closet, would now hang on white gallery walls. Meanwhile, back in Hawaii, her family struggled without the invisible support they had always relied on. Bedtimes failed, medications were forgotten, dinners became chaotic, and slowly, the absence they had dismissed became impossible to ignore. Soft music filled the room as visitors studied Wendy's work. Faces and stories once overlooked, now illuminated.